gonna bring some tea to class next time. I gotta sip my tea.
Next week, we are supposed to read 3 and 4 chapters in Fagin, Racist America. Please read chapters 3 and 4 in Fagin's book, Racist America, because he talks about the front stage and the backstage, what people do when they're around people of different genders and races, and what people do when they're not around them. Some people have the utmost respect for women and get around their friends and say, these bitches, I'm trying to beat. I'm trying to see about what that mouth do. And she trying to party, I'm going to call my mans and them over. This is the way they talk when they're not around you. Then they see you and say, oh, you look good in this lady. I see you trying to do anything. Right, okay. Front stage, backstage. Total fraud, the real person. Race operates the exact same way. Just like when we see things like a guy feeling like it's okay to grope a girl, punch a girl in the face, or slip things in their drinks for 30 plus years, right? There's some assumption that this is okay. It's not, I'm a total jerk, I'm going to pay this with my life, keep the party going. I'm famous, she's promiscuous, they're just black people. Like, this is it's a culture. There's already some assumptions that feed into this, and people contribute to that, even with their silence and inaction. The history of it, right? Somebody passed it down. This joint ain't new, probably had a better beat, right? So it's an old song talking about murder. It was a song celebrating murder. It's a lot of look at that one guy, when that one guy is a product of a larger culture that involves the majority of guys. And that's why we highlight that guy. Because we don't want you to know that we all talk like that. Or we all know somebody that does. So we'd be like, oh, look at that dude, right? Look at him, look at that frat. I'm just saying, you can see why he's standing on the bus. He doesn't think somebody's about to slip on him. Everybody's not a frat, and females on the bus too, right? Like, there's a culture of hatred. A culture that affirms and accepts the celebration of murder. And then people, some check, he's not checking, you're like, yo. That's like riding to the Eagles game, cheer for the Eagles. You ever ride to the game, the Temple games? And you ever ride on the bus to the games? You know, you good. Fight, right? Anybody gonna stand up and be like, yo, man, they're bums. It's a different energy when you know it's just y'all. Like, it's all us. We got this. Everybody agrees with me here, so my energy and my fanaticism is amplified exponentially. It's like, that's not the year. It's not the year. That's not the issue. People say, oh, it's a long time ago. People say about racism, it was a different time. You ever hear that one? Yes. It was a different time. Yeah, a time when it was freedom riders, right? Or before that, it was time it was abolitionists, right? And white people waged slave revolt. So not the time. You have the same choice. The crowd might have been bigger on one side than the other side, but you still have the same choice. You can do what you want to do. You can be like, this is what's up, and you say it's not what's up, right? I watch Young Thug, and I say some of the things he says and does to me is not what's up. I don't care how popular it is. So you look back and be like, oh, back in the day, everybody was doing, well, I'm not doing that. And that's the choice. Like we talk about the energy, right? Talk about the girls knowing that the person's following them, or people being creepy, right? And there's energy, man. You don't need a document. That's right. You got even kids. You ever heard somebody say, I know I'm not wanted? That's right. It's a universal statement because everybody knows when you're not wanted. You come in there like
brainwashed.
Even the qualification that racism has to be conscious.
Explicit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. No, not even conscious. I can be completely sexist and be ignorant of the fact, and somebody can approach me and be like, yo, I don't even think you meant anything by it because I know you personally, but in the future, I wouldn't refer to this as that, right? Point taken. Not my lived experience. I accept the correction, right? No maliciousness involved, but you still were very sexist in your statement, or even in your position. You can say, well, look, over the course of 4 years, I don't know if you noticed this, right? But that doesn't matter. I don't know if you noticed this, but you never had a woman as a vice president, to raise your attention to study that we did, I'm not going to flat out accuse you of him, being conscious of being sexist, but I just want to let you know that you might have some subconscious biases that you're not even aware of personally, but it could be affecting your business structure. Okay. But just to assume that you have to know what you're doing in order to do it, shows a fundamental misunderstanding for the way this thing works.
A community where this harm frequently appears to stem, at least in part, from racial bias, both implicit
and explicit.
We talked about that.
And a community where all of these conditions, unlawful practices, and constitutional violations have not only severely undermined the public trust, eroded police legitimacy, and made local residents less.
Be careful of that. Eroded, take country back to a time when people losing trust. Right? I took you to Dred Scott. People didn't trust the law then. Right? Emancipation of Juneteenth. People didn't trust the law. This is a myth of a time where things were great for everybody. And that is ahistorical. And people slip that in all the time. We just got to return to, what America's supposed to be. You know what it used to be like? I don't know. What year are you talking about? Like, take our country back. Back to when? I'm kind of enjoying my freedom. We didn't say there was conflict or things they do. Say whatever you want to say. You can analyze, you can pick out the good parts, whatever you want to look at. You have an optimistic viewpoint, an idealistic viewpoint, have a utopian viewpoint. But don't revise the history and say that public trust was in a place where now it's at a lower level. It's eroded from where? Yeah. At what point were we like, yo, man, I trust these cops? It's laughable, right? The fact that that's a joke that doesn't need a punchline. I just said, I trust these cops, man. And everybody like that was the joke. Like, you ready for the setup and the punchline at the same time? I trust these cops. You funny niggas, right?
It's like the same thing happening over and over again. How can you trust them?
And I was like, talking about the ladies when you know a creep and all that, and you can see it coming. Before the dude even opens his mouth. You know, like on what's your Martin? Everybody watch Martin? When he plays the dude in the club, he be doing, Jerome. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh God. They be like, like, I know this kind of guy. We study history so that we can live better. Right? We don't gotta wait till we're all in it and then not know what to do. We can say, oh, see it coming. By the time it gets here, I'll be ready because I know how this works.
Right.
I know what to avoid, how to organize. I know what kind of propaganda and misinformation come my way. Even the subtle tricks, like erode. You go, oh, wait, missed that,
Constitutional violations at nearly every level of Ferguson's law enforcement system.
Okay, that's beautiful.
I just thought it was funny that Malcolm X always used that term, that metaphor, powder keg.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. This is a big moment. This is a big moment because for about 150 years, people have been saying it's in your mind. This is the most scholarly, the most highly government sanctioned, arguably one of the most comprehensive studies of everyday to structural, to economic, to physical, to mass incarceration, intersections of racism. A microcosm. Like, you have this control environment. You have Ferguson as a symbol for America. Like, this is a big deal. Because there's people for the last 20, 30 years who've been trying to say this to people. Family members, teachers, judges, who've been trying to get the rappers, trying to say this to people. We're the CNN. This is what's going on in these streets. Nobody's listening to us. There's people who've been saying this since NWA. So from 1992 to this moment, start right here where everybody's like, why are you saying that? Right? And the movie comes out, right? When you see the movie, it'll be like, oh, all this pressure and the FBI, everybody's coming down on them. But now you've already studied the 60s, so it's like, what do I do? You know why they're mad? Because you're the one that did it. That's the irony. You're the one that got them killed. You're the Richard Hells and all those people. So for you to come down on NWA, it's ironic. Like, it's laughable, right? Because somebody's getting this money. $3 million in a spot that small? You saw the area where Mike Brown's mom was in. Niggas ain't balling. Niggas ain't balling. That means a small concentration of leadership or rulership. I know we talked about Mandela, right? Like South Africa and apartheid, this small minority, this ruling minority, getting the lion's share off of the backs